Hey everybody, it's Sam Jacobs. Happy Friday. Welcome back to the Sales Hacker Podcast. We're on Friday Fundamentals, that short 5 to 10 minute format where we bring you actionable insights to help make a difference in what you do today. Today, back on the show, we've got this week's guest, Tom Martin. He is the Chief Revenue of iCIMS. He is a multi-decade veteran of high growth and incredible enterprise companies. He's worked at Hewlett-Packard, Symantec, Rackspace, Nuance Communications, and now leading the charge at iCIMS, a $250 million business. And the question we have today is, what should your approach be if you find yourself in the job market right now in sales? What should you do? Now, we're going to ask that in a second. Before we do that, we want to thank our sponsor. Friday Fundamentals is brought to you by Outreach. Outreach triples the productivity of sales teams and empowers them to drive predictable and measurable revenue growth. By prioritizing the right activities and scaling customer engagement with intelligent automation, Outreach makes customer-facing teams more effective and improves visibility into what really drives results. Now, Tom, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Sam. Good to be here.
We're glad to have you. So here's our question for you today. If you find yourself, let's say you're a salesperson, you find yourself in the job market, you're looking for a job in sales, what's your best piece of advice?
Well, having worked now at iCIMS for the past 15 months or so, we are in this space. I mean, we see what's happening with jobs every day. We've got over 4,000 customers that really understand how they're hiring, who they're hiring, where they're hiring. So it's a good question for now. And in the current environment, which certainly no one, including myself, ever expected, the job market's actually pretty hot now for sellers. Most companies are struggling in one way or another due to current COVID crisis. I think we all get that. Many have even had to let go of some employees and stay ahead of the game. But at some point, and hopefully soon, we're going to come out of this and the economy is going to thrive once again, but not really before a whole bunch of hiring occurs to bring team members back into the business. Then every business is going to be looking for sellers to take advantage of the comeback. And while we don't know when this really is going to happen, I think it's safe to say that if you're thinking about a change in your current career, or you've already been forced out and you're trying to find a new role and you want to move along, then you should start preparing now and you should get yourself into an engagement now. And what I think in terms of salespeople is you're either looking for a sales leadership job or you're looking for a hunter job or something like that. And, they're very different. So if you're looking for a leadership job, you got to find the right quality candidates if you are a hiring manager. And this is hard to do even in a good economy, even without a pandemic. So if you might be in the market for a leadership role, the things I would recommend is that you do your homework and remember that most hiring leaders are looking for their sales leaders to be operational first. Companies want first-line leaders to drive the operational execution, right? They're not just looking for a great seller or someone that's been a great seller, although that's a plus. It's great if you've been a great seller, but if you can't be operational, it's going to be difficult for you to get that leadership role, especially if there's a lot of people out there looking for it. So you should be able to talk to things like managing your capacity, how you deploy a quota, what to do when you define a territory model and have a point of view there, how you manage a deal, or how you do team cadences within your organization to drive forecasting or other initiatives. And if you're looking for an individual contributor role, in particular a hunter sales role, for example, which I think are always the hardest people to find, and good ones can generally land a great role, you got to be able to list the customers and the names and relationships you've had with those customers that are potential prospects for the company you're applying to, right? They just don't want to know that you're a great guy and you really have a good relationship capability and you can articulate yourself. They want to know that you've been in customers that they want to win, and they want to know that you've had good relationships there. So you should be able to name names. You should also be able to have a clear methodology on how you close a deal. And there's a lot of different selling methodologies out there. You can pick whichever one you want. They all have the same basics. What hiring managers want to know is how you're going to get it done. And when you're a hunter, you got to be crystal clear that the hardest part of the job, the hardest part of the methodology, whatever methodology you use, is to get a meeting with the customer you're trying to knock down. Getting in the door is the hardest part. Once you're in, you can work your plan, you can work your methodology. But getting in is the challenge. And every hiring manager that's looking for a hunting sales rep is going to ask you, talk to me specifically about how you get in and what have you done before where that's been successful. Give me examples. Be prepared for that question. How you answer that single question will really make or break whether you stay in the game for the next round or you're knocked out. But for both roles, whether you're talking about management or whether you're talking about an individual contributor hunting sales role, the key point here is really to be prepared. Don't waste the time of the hiring manager and don't let them waste your time. I think that's it, Sam.
I love it. I love it. And just to recap, if I heard you correctly, besides be prepared, if it's leadership driven, be prepared to discuss operational skill sets, operational tactics, how to build a territory, how to deploy quota, how to make sure you're at capacity or the right capacity model. And if you're a hunter, it's really make sure you can name names in terms of customers that you've had relationships with and that you know how to open the door and you have a defined process for closing that door and closing the deal. Does that?
You got it.
Perfect. Tom, it's been fantastic having you on the show this week. Remind us, if folks are listening and they're prepared and they can name names and they want to help iCIMS grow, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Reach out to me via LinkedIn.
Perfect. And folks want to reach out to me, you can use LinkedIn as well. It's linkedin.com/in/Sam F. Jacobs. Thanks again to our sponsor, Outreach, who is tripling the productivity of sales teams the world over and doing a great job. Go to outreach.io for more information. And with that, we'll talk to you next time.